How would you like to make your first million? And today we have Peter with us, which is the founder and CEO of Fastbreak and the former founder and CEO of Vendorful. So Peter, tell us, what are the 5 steps that tech entrepreneurs should be doing out there to make the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'm very happy to be here, Harry. All right. Number 1. You've got to validate your idea before you start doing anything else. You've got ideas. You maybe have one really great idea. Maybe you have multiple ideas. Test them. Find people you can ask about them. Put up a website, put up a landing page, send out an email blast, interview people, whatever it is that you have to do to validate the idea before you commit to it, right? Before you start writing code, before you start investing money, just check that the idea is going to work. Check that people are interested in it. That's number 1. All right. Number 2, once you've validated it, this is a big one, I think, and overlooked. You have to commit to it. You have to cross this mental hurdle of saying, like, okay, like, I've got an idea. I'm going to try and test it out. I'm going to kind of do this on the side. Like, I don't believe in side projects. I mean, fine, like have side hustles, have side projects, whatever. The point of having a side project or a side hustle, if you are thinking about being an entrepreneur, is to validate your idea. Okay, like if you have enough validation that you think this could be something big and something worth doing, you have got to commit to it. You have to be all in on it. Absolutely. And I'm not saying that's easy. It is hard. It is very, very hard. Yeah, it means, leaving a job, possibly leaving a safe career, taking a real plunge. But if you're going to actually succeed at it, you need to commit. Okay. So that's number 2. Number 3, seems obvious, but I think it's worth stating. You must actually build the offering, right? Whether we're talking about a product or a service, whatever it is, you have to build it. You have to make it. And the goal here, to emphasize, everyone talks about the MVP, the minimum viable product, and really emphasis on the M, minimal, smallest thing that you can do, where you're even a little bit embarrassed to ask somebody to pay you money for it, but that you can plausibly ask someone to pay you for, right? Strip away everything. We've all got big dreams. I've got big visions for my product. But when we started out, when we first launched it, in hindsight, it barely did anything, right? It did one thing, but that was enough. That's enough to go out there and say, hey, look, if you've got this problem, we can do this one thing. We can solve that one problem in this very, very narrow way. It doesn't have a lot of, features and bells and whistles. We can do this one thing and, start collecting some money for that. But you've got to put it out there. And, like I said, you're going to be embarrassed by your first product. If you're not embarrassed by what you first put out there, then you've waited too long. You just got to do it. Okay. So then number 4, you have to market it. And there are different ways of marketing things. There's, a whole books and, careers built around marketing, but pick a channel, pick a way to approach it. And again, all in, just, whether that's going to be website, whether that's going to be LinkedIn, whether that's going to be speaking, word of mouth, cold calling, you have got to get your business out there. It is definitely not the case that if you build it, people are going to find it. They will not find it. You need to be proactive about getting your product or service out there in the minds of your target audience. And I've got lots of thoughts about how to do that. I know what works for me. It's going to be different for different people, but the most important thing, about putting it out there is you pick your channel, pick your avenue, and go. And then finally, number 5, and this to me is actually the most important, because this is what gets you from all the stuff is sort of precursor. You've got your product, you've built something, you've committed to it, and now you're starting to get the word out. Your first customers are the most valuable asset you can possibly have. And the most important thing that you will get from them is learning. You must obsess over them, right? Like time invested in learning from your customers and talking to your customers is the most valuable use of your time at the beginning, right? Like if this is going to be a big company, if this is going to be a big product, if you're going to get to $1 million of revenue, if you're going to get to 10 million, 100 million, those first handful of customers, they're not going to get the dollars there, right? What they're going to do is they are going to lay the foundation of your knowledge and your learning to get you there. And so like, it almost doesn't matter how much money you make off them. You must acquire those customers and you must obsess over them. And if you think you're obsessing too much, I am sure that you are not. Just you cannot obsess too much over your earliest customers. Those are my 5 steps.
Peter, I love your 5 steps. Clearly, they are one of the most spectacular 5 steps that I hear in this podcast in terms of building a successful tech company. So clearly, you know what you're talking about, and clearly you exited your company. So my first question is going to be, how come you have come up with these 5 spectacular steps to make $1 million in a tech space? So how do you learn? I mean, I get it that you exit your company, but did you knew all this when you start your first tech? How you know this? Tell us.
No, I've learned the hard way. So I'm telling you, the listeners, yeah, so that you can, so that they can learn from my mistakes, things that I did wrong along the way. Look, it wasn't all mistakes. I will say there are definitely some resources out there that were incredibly helpful to me. Some books in particular, The Lean Startup, always a classic. And even if you think you know the message of the Lean Startup, you should actually read it, because some of what the book actually says, it will surprise you if all you know about it is kind of this idea of like, MVP and, invalidate and blah, blah, blah. Really worth reading the book. But then, the rest of it, I think, and then there are more books. I can talk more about books if you want, but the rest of it is, learning lessons the hard way, making mistakes. I'll tell you one, 2 things in particular that I wish I had done better the first time around, and which I am laser focused on not repeating second time around. Number 1 is the minimal aspect in the minimal viable product.
Everybody in that one. This is no.
Yeah, so I definitely have made the mistake of going too broad too early. Thinking we should like expand, offer more stuff, and and this time around, just like what is the least we can do at all points in time? Like how can we strip down? Just do the least and do it really great, right? Because that's the thing. Like it is true that every big software company at least, offers multiple products, but you're not going to get to become one of those companies unless you do one thing really, really well. So just focus on doing that one thing incredibly well, and narrow. So that's one thing. And then the second thing is, something that we did right the first time, which led to Vendorful's success, was obsessing over the customer. But I think
very good. Well done.
Well, yeah, it was good. I think we didn't even do it enough, though. That's the thing. Like I'm just laser focused on that right now. Just like obsessing over my customers' problems, talking to them every day. Can't do it enough.
Brilliant.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.